Check 1 2, testing audio. Check 1 2. Check 1 2, testing audio. Check 1 2.
Councilor Breyer, can we check your mic?
Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, can we check your audio?
Present, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Councillor Tour, can we check your audio?
Good morning.
Thank you.
As we begin today's meeting, we would like to acknowledge that we are gathering here today on the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat Nations, who have called this land home since time immemorial. We recognize the Mississaugas of the Credit as the original rights holders and signatories of Treaty 19, the Adjutant's Purchase of 1818, and that the agreements made therein are foundational to our nation-to-nation relationship. As a city, we are committed to our ongoing role in reconciliation through meaningful action rooted in truth, justice, and respect. We are grateful to the original caretakers of this land who have ensured we are able to work, play, and live in Brampton now and in the future. Good morning and welcome to our meeting of Brampton's Committee of Council. I will ask the clerk to advise us of who is present.
Through you, Chair. Online, we have Councillor Brar, Deputy Mayor Singh, and Councillor Tour. And in person, Councillor Power, yourself, Chair Vicente, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Paleshi, Mayor Brown, and Councillor Santos. Councillor Fortini has sent his regrets.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. And so we'll move on to approval of the agenda. I will ask the clerk to advise us changes and updates to today's agenda.
Through you, Chair. The following revisions have been published. Pictures have been added to 6.4, delegation from Ana Gonzalez. Video was added to the public record for delegation 6.5. 6.6 delegation, the presentation has been added. 7.1, government relations matters, a presentation has been added. 13, referred matters list, the list has been updated. And item 15.2 has been withdrawn.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Do I have any changes to today's agenda? Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to add a discussion item on hours of operation for home businesses.
Thank you very much. Councillor Santos.
Thank you so much through you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to add a discussion item regarding management of congestion. Managing traffic flow and mitigation due to congestion from construction.
Thank you very much. Councillor Santos. I see no other additions, Madam Clerk. So I have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan to approve today's agenda as amended. All in favor, any opposed? That carries. Do any members have a declaration of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act for any matter to be considered on today's agenda? I see none. I'll ask the clerk to note for the meeting minutes. Committee, as part of our consent motion process, I will read each agenda item that is subject to the consent motion, and any member may verbally identify the item to be held for debate during today's meeting. Any item not held for debate will be considered as part of the consent motion and voted on for approval. I'll start by reading the relevant agenda items, and members can identify any items to be held. Item 7.1, a staff update on government relations matters. In consent. Item 8.2.1, the staff report approval of various street naming requests. That is in consent. Item 8.2.2, a staff report, special event road closures, community Garba street festival celebrations in wards 4, 9, and 10. That is in consent. Item 8.2.3, staff report request to begin procurement phase 1 of the light emitting diode signal retrofit program. That is in consent.
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
Held.
I wanted to hold government relations.
Okay, we will hold 7.1. And item 8.2.3 on LEDs, that is in consent. Item 8.2.4, the staff report for request to begin procurement of various transit goods and services, in consent. Item 8.2.5, staff report budget amendment, traffic safety impacts related to automated speed enforcement transition, In consent. Item 8.2.6, staff report, request to begin procurement, short-term rental of pickup trucks and compact cars. In consent. Item 8.2.6, staff report, budget amendment, natural heritage restoration and management program. Consent. Item 8.4.1, correspondence from Toronto and Region Conservation Authority regarding Conservation Authorities Act Regulated Area Mapping 2026. That is in consent. Item 8.4.2, correspondence regarding the removal of bike lanes from Nancy Souter, Brampton resident, and Jonathan Wells, Brampton resident. That is in consent. Item 9.2.1, staff report, cost share and lease agreements for the Joint Fire Communications Center in Brampton in Ward 6. In consent. Item 9.2.2, staff report, request to begin procurement construction of Sandalwood Field House in Ward 2. Consent. Item 10.2.1, a staff report, administrative penalty system program updates. That is in consent. Item 10.2.
Please.
Held, and that is held by Councillor Tour.
Councilor Tour. Thank you.
Item 10.2.1 is held. Item 10.2.2, staff report, driving instruction zones, pilot project review and next steps. That is in consent. Item 12.2.1, a staff report for 2026 first quarter operating budget report. In consent. Item 12.2.2, staff report 2026 first quarter reserves and reserve funds. In consent. Item 12.2.3, staff report for Community Improvement Plan, CIP for office employment, the final tax increment equivalent grants payment plan for 7600 Financial Drive in Ward 6. That is in consent. Item 12.2.4, staff report, DCCIL of Parkland and Community Benefit Charge annual report, summary of activity in 2025. In consent. Item 13, the referred matters list. That is in consent. Item 15.1, we will hold for direction. And item 15.2, closed report for proposal of lease terms for one academic drive has been withdrawn as the delegation is not here today. I'll ask the clerk to summarize the items to be included in our consent motion.
Through you, Chair, the following items will be included on the consent motion.
I will ask the clerk to explain why we are holding 15.1 closed session report on development approvals technology solution.
The open session motion out of it needs to be cleaned up to be just open session.
Needs to be cleaned up.
So some of the motion can't be passed in closed session. So on consent, it's just as it is. It'll be a very brief tidy up the motion.
So we'll be going into closed session to work through that and then bring it out into open. Madam Clerk.
On consent, through you, Chair, is 8.2.1, staff report approval of various street naming requests. 8.2.2, staff report special event road closures. 8.2.3,
Councillor Pelletier.
staff report, request to begin procurement phase 1 of the LED signal retrofit program. 8.2.4, staff report, request to begin procurement, various transit goods and services. 8.2.5, staff report, budget amendment, traffic safety impacts related to automated speed enforcement transition. 8.2.6, staff report, request to begin procurement, short-term rental of pickup trucks and compact cars. 8.2.6, staff report, budget amendment, natural heritage restoration. 8.4.1, correspondence from Toronto Region Conservation Authority. 8.4.2, correspondence regarding removal of bike lanes. 9.2.1, staff report, cost share and lease agreements for the Joint Fire Communications Center. 9.2.2, staff report, request to begin procurement, construction of Sandalwood Field House. 10.2.2, staff report, driving instruction zones. 12.2.1, staff report, 2026 first quarter operating budget report. 12.2.2, staff report, 2026 first quarter reserves and reserve funds. 12.2.3, staff report, community improvement plan. 12.2.4, staff report, DC, CIL of Parkland and community benefit charge annual report. And 13, referred matters list.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. And sidebar with our Chair of Planning It seems that it is committee's desire to approve 50.1 in the consent motion. All right, and with that, I have a motion, members of committee, moved by Councillor Pelletier to approve the consent motion. All in favor, any opposed? That carries. And next, we will move on to delegations. We do have a number of delegations today. They will be limited to 5 minutes, and we'll go with our first delegation, possible delegations regarding the notice of intention to amend administrative penalties, non-parking bylaw 2018-2019, the administrative penalties parking bylaw 333-2013. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone here?
We have no registered delegations for that.
Thank you. And so then we'll move on to item 6.2, possible delegations regarding notice of intention to amend mobile licensing bylaw 101-2025 pilot project driving instruction zones on city property. Madam Clerk, do we have any delegates to the item?
We have no delegations for that, through you, Chair.
And with that, it brings us to item 6.3, a delegation from Todd Kyle, our CEO of the Brampton Library, regarding the quarterly updates on library matters, programs, operations, and upcoming priorities. Welcome, Kyle, and welcome to our chair, Nicole Russell, who is also here. You have 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. I'd like to thank Mayor Brown and Council for the opportunity to provide an update on the Brampton Library. If we go to the next slide, you'll see the composition of our current library board, including our new vice chair, who unfortunately we don't have a picture of, but Tamanpreet Atwal has joined us as chair this year. Next slide provides an overview of our vision, Inspiring Connections, and our mission, which you're aware of, to build an inclusive community by inspiring literacy and social cohesion. Next slide, please. So I wanted to take you through some of our key results, and these are our key performance indicators. Starting on the upper left, you'll see market penetration has stayed relatively static at 37%. Market penetration indicates the number of households which have at least one active card user. You'll see on the right, our active card holders has actually slightly increased. And we expect that that will likely improve with the reopening of South Fletcher's. As for our physical borrowing, we're seeing marginal increases again, likely due to the reopening of South Fletcher's. Digital borrowing continues to show a lot of increase there. If we go to the next slide, as you know, one of our key strategic plans is to continue to expand the footprint of the Brampton Library, and we've made great progress there and are looking forward to more. I can't believe it's already been a year since our 9th branch, the Clairville branch, opened in March of 2025. In October of 2024, if we look back, we actually had closed South Fletcher's for renovations to align with the Susan Fennell Sportsplex renovations. And we did open a temporary branch in Shoppers World, which was well received, but smaller. So we were very excited this past March when we reopened the South Fletcher's branch. As we look forward, we are looking forward to continuing to work on the design of our new Chinguacousy branch at Howden Community Center, as well as the design of our new branch at Embleton. We are considering a possible renovation of Cyril Clark, and also are continuing to work on the plans for the downtown branch with our Center of Innovation. If we could go to the next slide, please. Just wanted to share some photos of our new South Fletcher's that recently reopened. We were pleased to have a number of council there to celebrate with us. And as you can see, it is a bright, inviting space, and we're very excited to see that reopen. If we go to the next slide, you'll see the ribbon cutting which took place there. And now I think I can turn it over to you, Todd, to carry on. Thanks.
Thank you so much. All right, so I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview of recent exciting developments that help support the city's strategic plan, which you can see here. Next slide, please. To support health and well-being, many things that are happening in the library include a regular seniors social at several branches. We did hold a very successful college and university fair last year. We engage teens in a number of ways, including a new program called the Teen Library Leaders, which operates out of 3 branches, and several programs that we call Teen Meetups. Peel Public Health has partnered with us on parent workshops, and we do have a new Book Explorers Club for kids. Next slide, please. So in terms of culture and diversity, there's many things happening at the library to support it. We're continuing our partnership that we're very proud of with the Brampton Arts Organization on the Artist in Residence and Writer in Residence Companion Program. We hosted the Fold Festival of Literary Diversity Kids Fest last November. We continue to work very closely with the Fold. We worked, of course, with the community on Brampton Book Week, and thank you very much to this council for all their support. That was at the end of April. We also continue our local authors showcase, which will feature an author fair at this summer's farmers market. Next slide, please. Continuing with culture and diversity, we've worked with En Route to Success on a film screening. We continue our author talks with Fold. We've started several Indigenous programs that you can see here, and we're working with a local partner on translation into several languages of some of our marketing materials. Next slide, please. To support urban centers and neighborhoods, we've extended our after-hours study hall program for extended hours during exam periods. We hold artist markets a couple of times a year in partnership with BOW. We're introducing bookable small rooms in some of our locations for study and collaboration, and we host, of course, a number of tech programs. Really importantly, the library is an important third space in the community. Next slide, please. On transit and connectivity, very quickly, we've launched a new ebook and e-audio database called Overdrive and an improved mobile app. Watching the time here, next slide, please. Additional things on environmental resilience and sustainability include our Repair Cafe, an author from former Environment Minister, an author visit from Catherine McKenna, and a climate book club. Next slide, please. Government and leadership, just very quickly, we have just recently engaged a fundraising management company called Intercom, and you'll be hearing more from them in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. CEO. I have speakers. Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair, thank you both for coming in. I just want to highlight Chair Russell, and I want to thank you. You do an amazing job on the library board, but also on our committee, on our audit committee. Your passion and your experience and everything that you do for the city on your own time is unbelievable. So I just wanted to highlight that. I want to highlight the fact that myself and Councilor Medeiros got our library opened in the Susan Fennell Sportsplex there, and it is packed. It is so well used. What a great renovation. I'm in the rec center 2-3 times a week, and let me tell you, it is busy in that library. So well needed, great renovations. Love everything you're doing for the library across the city. Very important to make sure that we're continuing to open and expand. So I just really wanted to say thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Keenan. Councillor Brar.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Just really want to say again, thank you, Chair Russell. When we have our meetings, I think you bring that passion in, and I've loved that about you. And thank you, Todd, for keeping our board members and everyone together. I think it's a collective group that works together, but also seeing that the culture and the community part of library is booming. We've seen very excited new partnerships within different parts of City of Brampton. I think that's a very wonderful, I just want to make sure you notice that, but also a lot of residents are appreciating that. And I think you did mention some of the improvements that we're looking for Cyril Clark. Is there any elaboration? Maybe just, I think it's good for the library board to keep us informed about these improvements, so in the future we can add them in the budget if needed, and just be aware of them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Brar. Our next speaker, Mayor Brown.
Thank you, Chair Vicente, and thank you for the presentation today. It's wonderful to see all the activity in our libraries. I should let you know that Councillor Power is unrelenting it's a badger on the budget office to make sure that we have that Howden Library up and operational, and I can't wait to see that happen in the near future. I would say, when you give a presentation like this, there are so much great things happening in the library, and I would love to sort of have you work with our corporate communications to better get that word out. And I give you one illustration. During Book Week, I came to one of the branches to read a children's book, and the response I got on social media and people sending me messages, they had no idea that happens, and not just during Book Week, but all the time in our libraries. And so I think we would love to get more information out to the public on the programming that it happens in the libraries, and maybe it's including, an overview in our mayor and councilor newsletters. Maybe there's some social media opportunities. But if corporate communications can assist in helping get the word out, I think you've got a lot to be proud of, and would love for more residents to know about the programming that's available. But maybe the question to you, how can we help get the word out, and what existing tools do you use to spread the word?
Sure, I can take that. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Really appreciate your support. Yeah, we do. I mean, we do work with corporate communications in terms of social media messaging, the electronic screens that are in many of our facilities. Internally, we use similar tools. We have a customer relationship management newsletter, which we encourage everybody to sign up for the newsletters. You need to actually opt into those. There's about 10,000 or so people on that. But certainly, I will direct our marketing department to redouble those efforts to work with corporate communications to, as you said, get the great news out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I will ask for receipt of the delegation by Councillor Barr. All in favor? That carries. Thank you very much. Our next delegation is from Ana Gonzalez, the Columbia Independence Day, and regarding the Columbia Independence Festival to be held July 5th, 2026. Do we have Ana here with us? Bienvenido.
Hello, gracias. Okay, so I'm Ana Gonzalez, and this is my 4th year running the Columbia Independence Day in Brampton, and it's going to be run in Gage Park from 10 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, and this is just a multicultural celebration. It's our Colombian Independence Day, and this is our fourth year. So I'm just here to see if I can get some support for our festival.
Thank you very much. Do you have anything further to your delegation, Anna?
This is just some of the pictures and.
All right. So as we scroll through, we'll ask Mayor Brown, who's on the board, to speak. Thank you.
This was a great event last year for a first-time event at Gage Park. I know you previously at Rosalie, and it was great to sort of reach out to a community that is spread out across Brampton and make them feel at home. I would note Councillor Keenan has told me he won't cheer for Colombia if they're playing Scotland in the World Cup, but he does want to come celebrate. Anything we can do to help make sure this is a great event, and I'm sure we can share, your poster. If you pass it to us, we can put it on our social media.
Yeah, this is our poster.
Yeah.
And this is our 4th year, and we started our Rosalia. It was a very small event. We started like 300 people poured, and then now we're getting up there.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. Keep up the great work.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Councillor Keenan.
Sorry,
Come back, Anna. We're not, there's still more.
Oh.
But wait, there's more.
I'm so sorry.
Espera.
I'm just going through treatment, so it's hard.
No, thanks for coming in. I just want to, what an incredible event it was. I remember getting up there and dancing, and I just wanted to point out, because very clearly stated last year that you said you'll dance at the next one, because you wouldn't dance last year. So Mayor Brown, I'm expecting to see you up there dancing this year on the stage, because that was your comment last year, and I just want to let you know that I didn't forget. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Keenan. So I will ask for, Mayor Brown.
Just point of clarification, I believe I said Councillor Power would dance on my behalf.
Well, I'm going to be up there dancing.
Muy bien. All right, I'll ask for receipt of delegation moved by Councillor Keenan. Todos en acuerdo? All in favor? That carries. Thank you. Our next delegation
very much.
Thank you so much, Anna. Next delegation is from Jacqueline Anderson, President and CEO, Nurse Jackie Home Care, Inc., regarding recognition of National Nurses Week 2026, and also in regards to Nurse Jackie Home Care Inc. and Nurse Jackie Training Academy, and also in regards to the proposed Ontario Home Support Association. Welcome, Jacqueline. You have 5 minutes.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Patrick Brown and Council for having me today. Most people build one business and call it a career. I built a cleaning empire and a healthcare company with no outstanding funding and investors or no shortcut, but just 25 years of experience and a refusal not to quit and with support from the community. My name is Jacqueline Anderson, and I'm here today to seek the crisis that's happening in Brampton Homes. The home support worker and the homemaking part of the home care is not being recognized. Next slide, please. The crisis is happening right now. Clients are refusing homemaking, laundry, meals, and they're sometimes left alone. And there's a crisis of shortage in home care support worker. So we're here today just to show the City Council and the Mayor how Nurse Jackie Home Care can fill that gap. Next slide, please. We're asking for college partnership for the Nurse Jackie Home Training Academy, a recognized certificate that the home support worker certificate can be recognized. We're asking for city advocacy, champion our academy at the provincial level for the certificate. And also, if the certificates are recognized, our funding support can be recognizable if we, in order to get funding. Next slide, please. Without partnership, our certifications are not formally recognized. Graduates cannot qualify for public home care like work elsewhere. Seniors are still turned away, and Nurse Jackie Academy remain invisible in a broader healthcare system. Next slide, please. In today's case, $700+ cost of hospital beds in Ontario. 4,000+ PSWs and home care support workers are needed. Zero funding for NJH, Nurse Jackie Home Care Academy, and 100% built in Brampton, and we're Brampton-based. Next slide, please. Facilitate a college partnership. Connect Nurse Jackie Training Academy to either a Sheridan College or Humber College for co-credential home support worker certificate. Champion our provincial certificate recognition, support funding application, and recognize our homemaking crisis in the private homes where the seniors live. Next slide, please. Help us bring help home to the seniors. Right now, a Brampton senior is sitting at home alone because they are refused the homemaking help they need. Nurse Jackie Training Academy is the answer. We cannot do it alone. With our partnership, our advocacy, your advocacy, and your support, we will train the workers, fill the gap, and make sure no Brampton senior is ever told there's no help. Next slide, please. Okay. I have my nurse, Andrea, who is in the home, who sees the clients every day, and she has a few words to say.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone. My name is Andrea. I'm a registered nurse. I've been working in the hospital for about 30 years and long-term care for about 25 years. And so today I just come because I see the gaps when I go into the home, especially for the seniors, and how they need the support, they need the help, especially the seniors in Brampton. Now, I've been Toronto-based for many, many years working, but now that I'm in the community in Brampton, I see where the seniors are really suffering. So we would really appreciate if we can get some support and help where the seniors are concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies. And I do have speakers. Councillor Brar.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair, and just want to say thank you, Jackie, for your delegation and really bringing this to our attention, because it's really an important issue. more and more seniors. We've had a town hall this week, and we've heard that, seniors, there's more and more seniors in Brampton, and we'll see the effect of aging coming to a peak. So a lot of seniors do want to age in place and remain in their own homes. But again, just like you said, families are struggling. I do know this would be probably better suited at the Region of Peel, where Peel Public Health sits. And I would definitely advise and make sure that you can come to Regional Peel Council to delegate, because I think it would be more appropriate there. But I know whatever the city can do, we will definitely be able to help. But I think thank you for coming again and bringing this advocacy piece.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ladies, you want to come back? Why does everyone leave when I want to speak?
Sorry, we're
It's like
very
being
new.
at home. Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I want to say thank you for the work that you do in the community, first and
Thank you
foremost.
so much.
A personal experience with in-home care. My wife was in the hospital, and hospital stay, they were like, it's done, you got to go, but still needed that medical attention from a nurse.
Yes.
We couldn't get it through, we had to go private. And even going through private, it was difficult to get it. The resources are just not there. So I definitely know what it is that you're saying that we need to do. I'm happy to support it in any way possible.
Thank you.
I do agree with Councillor Berard that I feel that this is better suited at the Region of Peel. And I don't know if that's us referring this to staff here to help bring this with Councillor Berard to the Region of Peel. I think that might be appropriate. I do know that you'll get a lot of support there. I will wait on the referral because I see that Councillor Santos is on the board, but I just really want to highlight how important this is, how much it is needed, not just for seniors. Nurses to do in-home care is needed for everybody, specifically seniors, but for everybody. So very happy to support this in any way that we can. But before I would move any referral, I'll leave it for Councillor Santos and maybe ask that Councillor Santos, you could just move that at the appropriate time.
Thank you very,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
much, Councillor Keenan. Councillor Santos.
Thank you so much. Through you, Mr. Chair. Nurse Jackie, welcome. Good to
Thank
see you. I
you.
told you council would be supportive when we met.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So there was a survey that was released and headlining on CP24 yesterday saying that 9 out of 10 Canadians are overwhelmingly frustrated with the status quo of healthcare delivery in the country. And in fact, 70% are worried or frustrated about the current state of care. Would you say that home care, particularly your service, is part of that important change?
Absolutely. I started this in 2022 with the support of Brampton Board of Trade, the Brampton Entrepreneur Center, and the support of the community. And I was astonished of when you go into the homes and see the needs of these seniors and how myself, when I started changing lives, I am part of the solution. Nurse Jackie with Andrea and all my support in the back here. I have MetaGIF, who was a PhD, worked for the Region of Peel for many years. I have Nicole Lopez. I have my RN Claudine. We are champions now. Everybody that we service today's date really appreciate us. We can give you tons of videos of these people really telling
And
how
at
we
the end of
have
the
changed
day,
their lives.
And through you, Mr. Chair, at the end of the day, your service is keeping people at home because they want to be at home.
Yes.
I can tell you from a recent personal experience
Yes.
where my sister was waiting in the hallway of Civic Hospital since Friday and is still at the hospital today, that these are situations where they want to go home.
Yes.
And if they can receive care and treatment at home, then we need to create the structure in order for them to do that. And I'll be talking a little bit more about healthcare and this survey during the GR update, but I'm obviously very happy to support because this is how we change the delivery of healthcare that Canadian citizens, Ontarians, are really frustrated about. Overwhelmingly, majority are frustrated about. You are part of the solution. So my idea, Councillor Keenan wants to bring it forward, would be that we forward your correspondence to the region. We forward your delegation as correspondence to the region and indicate in that correspondence that the city of Brampton is supportive of this and would like the region of Peel to consider it. And that would be as correspondence. That would then open the door to you delegating to the region of Peel as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Councillor Keenan.
Happy to move that. The other thing I was thinking is maybe, I guess that's probably the best way to do it. Because I was thinking maybe to refer it to the Health Systems Integration Committee.
Yeah, and you could CC them as well.
Okay. So,
So we have a referral to staff
Yep.
to assist your organization to delegate at the Region Appeal and/or the Health System Integration Committee.
Thank you.
And we have the correspondence, and we'll ask staff to forward their correspondence to the region. Thank you. That is the motion. Moved by Councillor Santos, Councillor Keenan. All in favor? That carries. Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Committee, our next delegation is from Herbert Sinek, Executive Director, and Michelle McCollum, Board Director for the Center for Community Energy Transformation, regarding an update on the Center for Community Energy Transformation. Welcome, Herbert.
Thank you very much. Michelle is joining us online, so she should be up there. Thank you. And I have a fair bit to cover. I wonder if I could impose on you, Mr. Chair, for 7 minutes to speak, if you can afford the time.
I have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan to add additional time. All in favor? That carries. Please
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So good morning. I'm Herbert Sinek. I am the Executive Director of CSET. I've spent 30 years of my career working in energy systems and sustainability, including building Sheridan College's district energy system and being part of the team that developed the SERP. I'm joined today online by Michelle McCollum, who is a member of our board, and I'd also like to acknowledge David Lang out here in the audience, who is also a member of the board. Brampton created CSET to do something that really no single department within the city can do, which is to keep the full frame of the energy transition in mind, including all the relationships that are required with the ecosystem actors that are involved in that transition and understanding what the next steps are to keep moving things forward. If I could move to the next slide, please. I just want to point out that behind me at CSET is a very strong and knowledgeable board of directors, as well as an advisory committee, also very strong, very knowledgeable, and representative of the energy industry in Ontario. We're the folks really that helped build the SERP. We're the organization that were in the room when Brampton committed to this course of action. And CSET, as a result, really isn't a new idea, isn't something new on the scene. It's a decade that formalizes a decade of that advocacy and development that we've been doing in community. Even things like the Susan Fennell Sportsplex, when I was in my Sheridan days, I was advocating and doing the groundwork to establish a case for efficiency in that complex. To see it completed is really gratifying, and it's really indicative of what that sustained support really means in terms of moving this stuff forward. We're now in our fourth year of formal operations. We have SLAs with the other cities in the region. We've formed a consortium of very powerful global companies to help us with district energy and things like Heritage Heights. We've established some of the important foundational networks that we require to do home retrofits. And we've also received a Clean 50 award, kind of in recognition of the innovation that Brampton brings to the conversation. Next slide, please. So the SERP, it really envisioned and actually explicitly recommended that we have an arm's length organization to help deliver the mandate. And in endorsing that, council was really understanding that despite many of the levers that the city has to enact and enable those recommendations of the SERP, there are things structurally the city isn't set to do. Some of that is moving at the speed the community requires on some of these initiatives. It's accessing private capital. And it's convening, in some cases, people who are naturally competitive in the business environment, as well as communities that need to have conversations, and creating those safe and neutral spaces for those conversations to happen. Next slide, please. An energy transition, we should understand, as a really vast and complex endeavor. It requires us to do top-down activity like aligning, re-envisioning, restructuring institutions. It requires us to mobilize and empower communities from the bottom up. So our activities really focus on things like the partnerships with the various community-based organizations, contractor training and other capacity development to make programs work, laying the groundwork for things like LICs and bringing grant funding around the energy transition, advising on policy for things like district energy systems, and of course, a ton of knowledge dissemination reporting. And I also, on the next slide, I want to emphasize, and we can slip to the next, yes, thank you, we're here, that this really is a story of prosperity, economic prosperity. You know, something like $1.4 billion each year in energy spend that's leaving our community. And CERP was designed to repatriate those dollars to create that prosperity, to create local job growth and to support resilience. Cumulatively, over 20 years, that's something like $26 billion we could be bringing back into the city. On a household level where we achieve, you know, a 26% reduction, that's something like $520 back in that household's pocket, which is dollars that can be spent locally. And the other thing, of course, we're doing is we're bringing those companies that want to invest in Brampton because they recognize there's a great story happening here. Next slide, please. So what does it look like on the ground? Well, it looks like neighborhood retrofits, community scale, municipal district energy systems, renewable energy across the city, the transformation of transportation and mobility, and land use integration. And so, you know, we've already begun moving on, as I mentioned, the home retrofit programs and the things we're doing in partnership with groups like TRCA in order to establish a foundation, supporting our industrial, commercial, and institutional partners as they try to navigate the energy transition, and really focusing on what we need to enable that utility scale district energy systems, whether that's Heritage Heights, Churchill Business Park, Bramalea, wherever we go. Next slide, please. So from a solid foundation, we have ambitions for a lot of things that need to scale. And that requisite for that really is this strong partnership between us and the city, right? This, at the end of the day, is all about a strong partnership between us. That's how we move this forward. Next slide, please. At the end of the day, CSET shows up, we do the work, we're bringing partners, we're bringing capital. We're asking council to show up for us in three pretty specific ways. So one is to reaffirm this mandate. We want to signal to the federal funders, to the private partners, that CSET has the backing of Brampton. Second, when CSET was established, we talked about a level of funding that was something like $300,000 a year. To date, we've received $400,000, and that's been helpful. It's certainly helped us get off the ground, establish what we needed, but the ambition of scale we have, the things we want to move forward, the programs, you know, they need staffing, they need support. We need to get things rolling, and so we're looking to see what further support we can have to move that forward. And then lastly, we've brought opportunities to the city in the form of district energy, in the form of FCM funding that was potential, and we haven't been able to get those across the line. This is just a matter of reestablishing and firming up our partnership. Last slide, please. Energy transitions, really at the end of the day, they're about a lot more than energy. They're prosperity, they're the future we want, they're livability, and CSET's really how we get that future built with partnership in Brampton. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Herbert. I have a number of speakers, beginning with Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair, thank you for coming in. You know, myself and Councillor Medeiros had a meeting with you and the organization really to be updated and briefed on the work that has been done and kind of, you know, giving me some background on it because it was obviously assembled before I was elected. So it was great to be, you know, caught up and really understand what's going on within the organization. And I feel like this is a very important time on the back of us, you know, going forward with our environmental master plan, as well as, you know, really knowing the pressure on the grid. We hear it all the time about the pressure on the grid. And, through your presentation, outside of this, we obviously got in a lot more detail about where a lot of those big programs will help, where this really will make us a leader.
Yes.
Or, your organization outside of the city of Brampton will help us within the city hit our targets and all of those things that we read in our master plan. And I really think it's a time that we lean in instead of pull back. So I fully support the organization and any funding that would need to be put into it in order to keep it going and keep us moving forward. And I know that Councilor Pelletier has something and probably more to say than I do, but I just want to say that I'm very supportive of the organization. I know Councilor Medeiros is as well because we had those conversations. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Councilor Pelletier.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have too much more to say other than, so I was around when this started. I can see where we are now, and if I could say to that person back then, hey, keep an eye out for this, I certainly would have. It's gotten to the point where you guys are all doing fantastic work, and then we're also doing amazing work where the collaboration of both can be a little bit stronger, working together, not on you, not on us, on both of us together. So, and I think we recognize that. I know you recognize that as well. I know, once, in the future, and looking at you, Michelle, we've had the discussions. I know in the future that you're going to have a home at the Environmental Education Center, because that was the direction back then, to have a little spot for you. We're going to get there. And it's unfortunate that it's come to where I think I need to put forward a motion to say we're in this together. The funding is definitely there. We at the city need to ask you to do something first, and then let's come back. Now, in terms of that motion, and you can display it, Madam Clerk, thank you very much. At the bottom of the motion, it does say for future fundings, it go to budget and or a staff report. The budget is for future funding. The staff report is for funding. So I think what we need you to do is, and I think Steve may be able to talk a little bit about it, is an MOU or something. And if I can just ask through you, Mr. Chair, to Commissioner Ganesh, if he can elaborate a little bit on that.
Sure. Through you, to the chair, through to Councilor Pelletier. First of all, to the delegation, thanks very much for coming in. We had a productive meeting a few weeks ago to sort of reframe and reset the relationship between the city and the CCET. Coming out of that meeting was an agreement to work together on a bit of a tweaking of the scope and mandate and work plan. Staff would then bring that report forward to council, and we can commit to doing that fairly soon, certainly before the summer recess. And that report would then identify sort of the funding envelope for some of the short-term activities that we foresee in the future, and then use the budget process for 2027 for longer-term activities.
Yeah, and that's, I think, truly what I wanted to accomplish here today. I don't know if you or Michelle, you haven't had an opportunity to speak. I'll throw it over to you, maybe for a couple last-minute comments.
Oh, thank you so much through the chair. Thank you so much, Councillor Pelletier, and to offer all of the support. Brampton was a leader when it created CCET. It was a really pivotal and important time, and it's great to hear the conversation today. It's not easy work, but I can assure you, you've got a passionate leader in Herb Sinnock. You've got passionate people like David and I on the board to lend our support, and we're happy to work with you, work collaboratively. That's the way I like to work, and really happy to get this work done. So thank you so much for all of your support.
Excellent. Thanks, Michelle. Thank you very much for your delegation.
Thank you.
I'm happy to move it. I know Councillor Keenan really wanted to second it. If we can have that at council, that opportunity, if he can be put on as a seconder. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Santos.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. Just, I support this motion. It's the first time I'm seeing it. So are we passing this today or at council next week? We're gonna pass it today? Okay, yeah, because it's, it's the first time I'm seeing the motion. But at the same time, I've been in conversations with David and others involved in CCET and have had meetings with them in the past, so I'm well briefed in terms of what's going on. But even though it's a last minute motion, I'm happy to support it because I believe Commissioner Ganesh, you helped to put it together, or?
Through the chair, through to Councillor Santos, this motion evolved over a series of conversations, both with staff internally and I believe with CCET members and perhaps Councillor Peleshi's office.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm just reading it for the first time, happy to support it. And at the same time, I have during the GR conversation also a motion that's coming forward, somewhat related, well, kind of not, it's environmental related because it's about e-bikes and the provincial legislation about e-bikes. But happy to support this now or when it goes to council next week.
Thank you very much, Councillor Santos. So moved. All in favor? And that carries. And committee, before we go on to our government relation matters, I would like to direct committee's attention to a special guest that has entered our chambers today. He is the Honorable Moyo Adebanjo, the Mayor of Lagos, Nigeria. Mr. Mayor, please come down and you may address committee. Welcome, Mayor Adebanjo.
Thank you so very much. It's a great privilege to be here today. I am Moyo Adebanjo from the city of Lagos. I represent Onibongo local government, which is like your Brampton city here in Canada. So Onibongo is a local council development area in Lagos State, the city of Lagos in Nigeria. And here with me is my legislative head, a councillor from my LCDA, Honorable Francis Onko. Thank you. Also here is the council manager, Mr. Biodun Oshine. Thank you. Also here is Mr. Omitian. Thank you so very much who accompanied us here. Mr. Jide Towolawi and then Mr. Zakaria. Thank you so very much. It gives us great privilege to be here today. Before now, we had registered our interest as a council in Lagos State to share cross-border interest and partnership with the city of Brampton, because there is a lot that is in stock for us in terms of relationship building. It would interest you to know that what attracted us to Brampton is that we found out it's the only city that's got an African desk for promotion, and we felt we could leverage on that. We could also leverage on the fact that the city of Brampton has got provision and solutions for issues that bother our community in Onibongo LCDA. What are the issues? It will interest you to know that the city of New York, on a daily basis, registers about 22,000 metric tons of waste. My state, Lagos State, and then the city of New York also has a population of about 8.5 million people with 22,000 metric tons of waste on a daily basis. My state, Lagos State, is a population of about 22 million people. And you can imagine the number of metric tons of waste we generate on a daily basis. And we found out that Brampton is so big on recycling, which is the new way to go for us in Africa, Nigeria, and particularly my state, Lagos State. As a county in Lagos State, Onibongo, we feel there's a lot to learn in the area of recycling from Brampton, and we decided to establish that relationship. In the area of technology, it will interest you to know that we have shared ideologies, because you have a very energetic population. The economy of Brampton is being run by the young people of the city of Brampton. You have a huge population of young, productive population, energy of youths. And so we also share that in Lagos State. We feel we can learn from how you've been able to direct or redirect the energy of the young population of the city of Brampton. And we feel there's a lot to learn. Also, in some other areas, like innovation and technology, in Africa, as you know, and in Nigeria, AI is the new language. We feel there's a lot to learn. Yesterday, we spoke with one Mr. Ugo, the coordinator of your Technology and Innovation Center, to look for areas of partnership with our city in Lagos State, Onibongo. And that's why we are here, to share a relationship with you. It would also interest you to know that what attracted us to you is that we found out that you had a presence in Lagos State, that the mayor had visited the city of Lagos a number of times. And we feel we need to track your interventions, because I know you've done a lot in your own quarter for my state, because I know at the time you gave us some fire trucks, firefighting trucks. But I want us to have a shared, trackable intervention and partnership with Onibongo LCDA as a city, to see whatever you're doing, you can boldly say, this is what we're doing in the city of Lagos State, Nigeria. This is what you're doing in Onibongo. And I think that is the way to go. And that's why we're here, to show this visit, to show this interest, collaboration and partnership. I'm also grateful for the reception so far on behalf of the governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, and the people of my local government, Onibongo LCDA. We say thank you so much. We look forward to a shared partnership. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I'm going to ask you to stay there, and please remain there with us. Please remain. I will ask as a formality that we reopen our agenda for today to add a delegation from the Honorable Moyo Adebanjo, Chairman of the Onibongo community.
Thank you.
Do I have support? All in favor?
Sorry.
Any opposed? Councillor Pleshy. We are going to add.
You're adding a delegation?
Adding a delegation. Correct.
It's not a new delegation?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? That carries. And thank you, Mayor and Mr. Chairman. So I now have speakers. Mayor Brown.
And just to thank the visiting dignitary for coming to Brent. We had a chance to meet yesterday. There is a very strong friendship between Nigeria and Canada, and nowhere is that more evident than in the city of Brampton, where we have a flourishing Nigerian community. And I know Lagos is comprised of many different municipalities, and the one that you represent is the largest within the Lagos area. And whether it is Nollywood, the tech sector in Lagos, which is being called the Silicon of Africa, there is a lot of opportunity for collaboration, and I think it speaks well of you to be here, to looking at that deeper relationship with Canada. I know we got a team here in our Economic Development Department that are eager to collaborate. I'm going to suggest maybe we do a photo with the delegation and officially thank His Worship for visiting us here in the city of Brampton, where we're the only city in Canada where we have agave bread and zobo juice in the mayor's office.
That's lovely.
Thank you, Mayor. I have other speakers. Councillor Pleshy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just thank you very much for coming. It's ongoing, and the work that's coming out of the mayor's office to have representatives from the Nigerian community it's absolutely outstanding. It is booming, and any type of relationship with us and yourselves is certainly a benefit for both of us in the countries. So I look forward to it. I look forward to this relationship continuing to flourish, because, well, everybody loves Nollywood, right? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Pleshy, and we'll ask you to move receipt of the delegation. All in favor? That carries, and we'll take a photo. Thank you, committee, and it is now my pleasure to welcome Andre to give us our updates on government relation matters. Councillor Santos.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. If my hold was about specific questions, I don't necessarily need the presentation, but I just had questions regarding GR, particularly on the healthcare file, given the recent survey, as well as the provincial legislation on e-bikes. So we don't have to do the presentation. I'm happy to move receipt of the presentation and just go into some questions about GR.
Councillor Santos, the floor is yours.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. So in the GR deck, there was reference to healthcare, various references to healthcare, and I'm going to start off with some good news. Couple updates here is that the good news is that Brampton has been identified through a survey, Healthy Cities survey, as one of the top 10 in Canada for being the top within the top 10 healthiest cities in the country. And that's incredible news because when I looked at the survey, it had everything to do with upstream preventative healthcare measures. So investments in parks, in recreation, keeping people healthy and active, people's well-being. And I have to say here at the City of Brampton, certainly with Mayor's leadership in investing in parks and recreation, supporting our young people, congratulations to the team, congratulations to the mayor and our community for being in the top 10 healthiest cities in the country. The other good news is that I believe in the GR deck as well. It also references the fact that our work at the City of Brampton advocating for the TMU Medical School has also resulted in, as we all know, a new primary integrated healthcare center, which is going to be servicing 14,000 visits a year, which is incredible because primary care is an important step again to prevent people from getting in the hospital and actually seeing regularly a family doctor. And so in terms of what Brampton is doing on the healthcare file, it's been significant to deal with within our limits and jurisdiction of what we can do, because healthcare ultimately is a provincial and to a certain extent federal matter. Bad news. And this is where I have some questions from staff for an update because, Premier Ford, since being elected as Premier, has always talked about ending hallway medicine. In Brampton, we still have one full hospital, only one emergency room. And I can say from recent personal experience, hallway medicine isn't over in Brampton, in our hospital, one hospital. My sister was admitted to Brampton Civic on Friday, was placed in a hallway, and remained in a hallway until yesterday afternoon. And the hospital was in gridlock for that entire duration of time. In a city that has 800,000 people, having only one hospital, one emergency room is unacceptable. And we at the City of Brampton have done everything we possibly can to expedite building our second hospital. And I know that my experience with my family as a resident of Brampton, not as a counselor, but as a resident, I know that that experience is consistent for other residents in the city. And it's not just about Brampton, it's about the healthcare system in general. Because like I said, that survey that was done by Santis as well as Nanos Research indicated that 9 out of 10 Canadians are overwhelmingly frustrated about the status quo of our healthcare system. This is beyond the control of the municipality, beyond the control of the City of Brampton, because we have been given the recognition as one of the top 10 healthiest cities in the country. So my question to staff about this file is, number one, we passed a motion in November of last year asking, and we did everything we could to to top up our local share for the building of the second hospital. But we also, in that motion, asked William Osler to provide an update to council as well. And I'm not sure whether or not that's been provided yet. But question to staff, can you summarize what we have done? Everything we have done to expedite the building of the second hospital.
I'll ask staff to respond.
Through the chair, through to Councillor Santos, I'll speak from the land use approvals, and then I'll turn it over to staff for advocacy efforts. So council will recall, basically in advance of the groundbreaking ceremony for that hospital, staff worked pretty expeditiously to complete the rezoning approval for that site in 2023. In January of 2025, we entered into a master site plan approval with William Osler that allowed them to then advance their proponent to do the design build of the facility. We continue to work with William Osler on a regular basis, and we've offered to undertake what we call a limited site plan. That would then allow William Osler to start early work, so grading and whatnot on the site should they choose, and to some degree start some of the dialogue with our building division for foundation permits or early building permits and whatnot.
Thank you. So through you, Mr. Chair, to Commissioner Ganesh, what court is the ball in right now? Because have we done everything we possibly can from the limitations of our jurisdiction as a municipality to try to get this second hospital built in terms of the planning perspective, but also maybe Andre and staff in terms of our local share contribution?
Yeah, through the chair, through to Councillor Santos, we have done everything we can to date based on the submissions we've received, and we'll continue to process submissions as we receive them.
Okay, thank you, and Andre?
Good morning, and through the chair, Councillor, I can add to that since passing of that motion, staff have worked with William Osler to finalize local share agreement between the city and William Osler. That agreement is in its final stages and should be completed shortly. Also, following that motion, staff have reached out to William Osler to inform their staff that council has requested an update on the work on the second hospital. We continue to be in conversations to set up that update for council by the summer, and I'm hoping to have a date soon. As you will also know, back in April 2025, a preliminary site work has taken place at PMC, and agreement to finalize procurement as well as construction is going to be finalized between William Osler and the province, and the city is not part of those discussions. And unfortunately, due to that fact, we do not receive regular updates in terms of any timelines or what we can expect in the near future. However, as I mentioned, we have requested an update for council on that work.
Okay, thank you. And through you, Mr. Chair, because of my recent experience, I did have some conversations with folks from Osler about the second hospital. And certainly just for the record, for the public record, like Andre has shared, and maybe clarify one more time, maybe a little bit louder, we are not privy to the conversations between the province and William Osler. So it could be that some of these delays in terms of getting real shovels in the ground and building that foundation and making sure that the plans that we've already approved at the city start actually happening is stuck in that conversation between Osler and the province. Is that correct?
Through the chair, councillor, that is correct. The conversations about agreement related to procurement and construction is solely happening between William Osler and the province. And we are not privy to the either timelines or costing that is involved.
So as a resident, as a family member of someone who has experienced hallway medicine recently, and there have been many other residents across our city who have experienced the same thing. In fact, 9 out of 10 likely, if not 11 out of 10 in Brampton are frustrated. I'm furious. Because that second hospital needed to be built a long time ago. As a counselor, in addition to this update from staff in terms of us pushing, expediting plans, getting our local share updated and through the roof to meet those targets for our local share, and our advocacy. Can we talk about our advocacy? Because we're advocating yet again at AMO about the same thing that we've been advocating for 8 years. Can you share with us how much advocacy and focus has been put on this file to build that second hospital?
Through the chair, Councillor, as you pointed out, advocacy for second hospital and overall for healthcare in Brampton is something that we have done for many, many years. Each and every AMO, it's a cornerstone of an advocacy. We have also worked and continue to work very closely with William Osler, be it on local share, be it on anything we as a city can and could do to bring that issue to the minister's attention, to premier's attention. The mayor himself is very active on that file and has regular conversations on that. So as a city, I believe we can say that we've done everything we can to ensure that between province and William Osler, we have done our part to have this work start as quickly as possible.
And through you, Mr. Chair, I even know, for example, Councillor Paleshi at this table has been, and we as a council have been even more proactive in advocating for the third hospital and trying to find the location for the third hospital, because we know that the second hospital is barely going to actually keep up with where we are as a city at 800,000 people. And so I think, and I know Mayor Brown is on the board, and I apologize because I know other members of council have felt the same way dealing with hallway medicine with their own family members and friends, and people in the gallery who have also experienced the same thing in the city of Brampton. There's only so much that the city can do. And as a councillor, at council, delegating at AMO, talking to our MPPs, trying to talk to Osler, trying to expedite planning, making sure we meet our local share targets. We have done enough. And so I would like, if we can, either move a motion or ask for direction that the mayor, on behalf of council, write a letter to Ministry of Health, who happens to be in the region of Peel, as well as Infrastructure Ontario, as well as William Osler, to provide us with exact details on the timing, updated timing, of the building of the second hospital and what they are doing to expedite the process. Because we have done everything we can, including Deputy Mayor Singh, who's online, not feeling well today. Hopefully you don't go to the hospital. I wouldn't recommend it. Not feeling well today. Passing a motion declaring a healthcare emergency in Brampton even before COVID hit. So, you know, I'm passionate about it at the moment because my sister's still sitting in the hospital. And I'm hoping that we actually get a real response with real timelines on what is going on, because it is absolutely unacceptable that we still only have one emergency room in the city of Brampton. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Santos, for your passion and good wishes to your sister. I have no other speakers, so we have a motion. Oh, Mayor Brown, you're back on. Thank you. Please.
Yeah, just to say that the construction date, the early works began last year. The full construction was going to be, they told us, January 2027. We said that was unacceptable. We got Premier Ford to intervene with Infrastructure Ontario, and they promised us construction would start this summer. Now I'm hearing it could be as late as the fall. I think a letter to say we don't want any delays from the commitments made by the minister and the premier would be well served. You know, hearing July to September, now hearing August to October, anytime there's any delay, it makes me nervous. And so given how long we've waited for this, I think just holding everyone's feet to the fire that we want construction yesterday is helpful.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And I would, if I may, just add a request that when that letter is drafted, that it be made public to the community. Councillor, Deputy Mayor Singh.
Thank you. I think Councillor Santos spoke well. Just was asked for a recorded vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Singh. So we have a motion, request for the mayor to prepare correspondence to the province Recorded votes. Counselor.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. It shouldn't say the foundation of William Osler. I believe it's just William Osler Health Services, I believe.
The motion is on the screen. I'll ask the clerk to conduct the vote.
Through you, Chair. For the motion on the screen, requesting the mayor to send correspondence to the Minister of Health, Minister of Infrastructure Ontario, and William Osler Health System with respect to the timing of the second hospital in Brampton. All those in favor, please stand. And in favor, I see Councillor Power, Councillor Tour, Chair Vasante, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Peleshi, Mayor Brown, and Councillor Santos. And online, Councillor Brar, how do you vote?
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Singh, how do you vote?
In favor. In favor.
And Councillor Medeiros, how do you vote?
In favor.
In favor. That is carried unanimously.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Councillor Santos, you're still on the board?
For the next item I have held
Very good.
on GR.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. So the other item which was in the slide deck for GR relates to the updated or provincial legislation and consultation process regarding e-bikes as an active transportation person, e-bikes, and as a driver, quite frankly. E-bikes continue to be an issue in Brampton, and the province, and Madam Clerk, if you don't mind putting up that GR update on the screen, the presentation, yeah, that slide. So the City of Toronto recently passed a motion on their council in support of provincial changes and for them to look at e-bikes. And the Active Transportation Advisory Committee, as well as our staff, have also in the background been looking at this legislation as well. And we're preparing to provide council with a memo for how we were going to respond. But given all of the latest conversations around active transportation recently at council, I thought we should make sure we put some direction, clear direction forward that is consistent with what Toronto is asking in support of the province looking at this new legislation to regulate e-bikes. And on top of that, also look at the issue related to e-bike batteries, which I'm not sure whether or not Toronto actually addressed. So the battery issue is one, as well as regulating license, age requirements, weight requirements, speed regulation of e-bikes, etc. These are all things that continue to be a safety issue in our city with respect to e-bikes. Happy that the province is looking at it, but ideally we also want them to look at the issue regarding batteries as well. And so, Madam Clerk, similar to the other motion that was brought forward, staff have been looking at this matter and have provided a draft motion for us to consider. I see Fernanda there. And Madam Clerk, if you don't mind putting up the updated motion that was sent over to me, and Fernanda is here to answer any questions. But essentially, this is comments on behalf of the city based on the legislation that the province is proposing, as well as looking at the weight of the bicycles themselves, and also dealing with the issue regarding batteries. This is the motion, and Fernanda is here to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Councillor Santos. I do have speakers. Councillor Peleshi.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. In seeing this motion for the very first time and it being put on as last minute, you know, I certainly can get behind it and support anytime we're talking about, and even in today, the bike Take Your Bike to Work Day, not Take Your Kid to Work Day, Ride Your Bike to Work Day. So certainly you can get behind anything like this, but you know, it being last minute, and did you provided the information for the
Chair, through you, I could provide an update, a brief summary of what we are submitting, if you'd like.
No, I think it's good. I'm happy to always, you know, work with staff, and when staff brings forward stuff for councillors to put forward, especially when there's the added item or the item that was already on the agenda, like all motions that we moved.
I just need 5 minutes.
Deputy Mayor, we hear you. I'm sure that you're requesting Councillor Tour to stand up for his birthday today, but we'll
Absolutely.
we'll hold that until after the motion, when we can properly make an announcement for Councillor Tour's birthday today. So, but happy to support this last minute motion. Thank you.
Councillor Santos.
Thank you so much for, through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, indeed, it is last minute, like the other motion was last minute. But part of it is because the comments are actually due by June 8th. And so we need this endorsement from council in order to make sure folks are good with moving in this direction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Santos. Fernando, do you have anything to add?
No, if you don't
Very
have any
good.
questions, I'm okay.
So members of the committee, we have the motion on the screen moved by Councillor Santos. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. And I will also ask a motion of receipt for the government relations part of our agenda moved by Councillor Pleshy. All in favor? That carries. Thank you, Andre. And we now, we will be moving through our Public Works and Engineering section. And I have item 8.3.1, a discussion at the request of Councillor Santos with regards to traffic congestion. Councillor.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. So I had some conversations with Public Works staff asking about what we're doing. So there's a lot of construction happening in Brampton right now. There's tremendous amount of construction on Williams Parkway, especially on our east-west corridors. Williams Parkway, Queen Street, downtown Brampton, Church Street because of the Riverwalk. And there will be ongoing construction because Brampton is doing a lot of work. We are building, we are moving things along. Not only are we catching up on construction projects that were delayed because of COVID, but we're also implementing construction projects that are on our timeline right now, thanks to a lot of work in our downtown with Andrea Oliviera over there. There's a lot of stuff happening, and with construction means road closures. And similar in the city of Toronto, who's going to be accepting FIFA World Cup over the next month, and our events and the farmers markets and other road closures due to the numerous celebrations we're having all summer. I'm just wondering if staff can comment on what it is that we are doing in order to deal with traffic and congestion caused by construction, i.e., have we looked at our traffic lights to time our traffic lights in order to improve the flow of traffic? Are there other things that we're doing in order to improve the flow of traffic? And can we consider something similar like what they did in the city of Toronto, where they've brought on traffic ambassadors during rush hours, etc., to actually direct the flow of traffic to keep cars moving, because all the roads across downtown, etc., are closed.
Thank you. Through the chair to Councillor Santos. Certainly, our team constantly monitors the traffic signal network. Whenever there's construction, they regularly review that and implement changes across the system. When those changes are implemented, they continue to review them to ensure that it has the intended impact. And that's something we'll continue to do and monitor. From a traffic planning perspective, our staff also works very closely with contractors and other stakeholders to ensure that all detour routes are appropriately planned and traffic management plans are in place to mitigate congestion as well as possible. Also, whenever there's construction within 30 meters of an intersection, construction projects will have and do have paid duty officers there to help direct traffic. Staff will look into the concept of traffic ambassadors, and if there's any particular locations during any particular time periods where it would make sense, that's something that we could look to pilot in the future. And just lastly, there's a lot of work that goes on from a coordination perspective with Peel Region, utility companies, all the different stakeholders that are responsible for construction within our corridors. And although it's a balance, because obviously construction needs to occur. There's obviously certain time periods when it's optimal to do it, but we try to balance the need to do construction and doing it at the optimal time. So, when we need to defer projects and schedule them, at later times, we do that. And at the same time, as I said, we work really closely with all our partners on traffic management plans and detour plans to make sure that it's implemented as effectively as possible.
Thank you. And through you, Mr. Chair, who is also the other local councillor in the area that I'm just about to share, Vaughan Street East, Vaughan Street East continues to be the place where people are choosing alternative routes to get to Main Street, Kennedy Street, Williams Parkway, and the pressure on Vaughan Street East and West is significant because the east-west roads like Williams Parkway, Queen, and Church are closed. Many of them are closed. And so I'm wondering, through this conversation, and I know I've been working with Kevin Miniker as well, about advanced greens on Vaughan and Ken Willans, as well as Main Street, if we could have staff report back, please, on what it is we're doing to deal with traffic flow in order to decrease congestion during construction periods. And then I would also ask if we could, including timing of light signals, but I would also ask if staff can also report back in the same way, options to even have a traffic ambassador during rush hour traffic in some of those pressure point areas. Main and Vaughan is a big one during rush hour and school pickup time. So if we could take a look at that, there's already been a few accidents in that area as well because of some of the congestion, because of construction, and also cut through traffic happening through Kings Point Plaza because people are stuck at that intersection. So if staff can report back, I don't know if you need a motion, but staff to report back on congestion mitigation measures to improve traffic flow during construction.
Through the chair, we can take that as a direction and provide that information to council.
That'd be great. How soon, Peter, do you think you could? It's just we need to, I would like to share that with the public because they are getting also frustrated with congestion in the city.
Certainly, through the chair to Councillor Santos, we can certainly have that within a week.
Okay.
I will point out that there have been some timing adjustments, and we'll ensure our staff take another look at that. I know there's also an advanced green, a dedicated left signal coming in the coming weeks, so we'll document all that information and provide it.
And then the final question in that report back, because I don't want to just deal with construction, there will be road closures because of main events, FIFA, farmers market, etc. If we could also get a sense of during those times what we are doing, what we can do, just to make sure that people aren't stuck. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Santos. Councillor Tour.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Just to begin, first of all, I want to thank our Public Works team, Peter, the construction team with Sunil, Shane, his entire team. I know we get regularly updated in Wards 9 and 10. We have a lot of construction going on with residents being frustrated, especially construction that's happened over multiple years, like on Goreway Drive. And that's a lot of residents that are always really mad about it. Staff have been very professional in handling that, holding multiple town halls, multiple pieces of communication that have gone out to residents. And again, these are very frustrated residents over a number of years. But kudos to your staff, your team on how professionally they've handled it. They've made every effort to expedite all the work possible, even though they've seen unforeseen challenges on construction projects of that scale. Kudos to the team that they're meeting the timelines, getting construction expedited as fast as possible, but meeting those timelines more importantly. And there's always this public notion that, cities don't know how to do construction. We don't know how to build roads fast enough. Look, they do it in this other country, other part of the world in 3 days, in 4 weeks, and we're doing it in 2 years. And all of those kind of notions don't help. But when that effective communication happens, I think it makes a world of a difference. I see that on Countryside Drive as well. That entire area with the amount of truck traffic, the amount of industrial development happening there, it's taken people extra 20 minutes on their daily commute now. But people are choosing to be patient as well because all of them are going to work and they know that jobs are coming to that part of the city. People are excited to see all those buildings pop up and they're willing to put up with that construction for a couple of years. And as long as I think that effective communication happens, that's been the best policy. Speaking with your team, I think it was Shane, talking about traffic signal timing. I know we got a report back on that a few council meetings ago. We've talked about that before. I know there's something else that was supposed to come later during this year as well on us improving that system on signal timings, how some of that system's outdated. We're bringing in a new system. I remember seeing those reports. So all that to say, thank you for all the work that you do continuously throughout the year. But I also don't want to, I cannot support this motion in good conscience just because sending staff back to write out more of the reports on what we already know, all the information that's already public, the information that we already have. And if it's just particular cases in different areas, like I don't want any additional information in my area of the city. So I know it's going to take more time from your staff who's already busy and packed with the amount of construction activity that's happening across the city. Coming up with another report to come back to council to tell us the same thing that we all already know. I'm not really in favor of that. I think it's going to just end up wasting more time during the summer for the folks that need to be out there on the ground working. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Turk. Councillor Power.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair. Through the staff, I remember, I don't know if it was Committee of Council or if it was Council, but I remember Councillor Paleshi asking, and we're talking about East and West Corridor, specifically Sandalwood and Williams Parkway, but construction on there, and asking for a report back at that point. And I believe we were just waiting on a report, so I don't know if we need another report.
Through the chair, we did provide an update to council some time ago with respect to capital coordination activities that we do. And as we move forward, we continuously, coordinate, work with our partners to, as I said, try to structure the phasing of all construction work as optimally as possible. We'll continue to do that. And similarly, with respect to the traffic signal network and traffic signal adjustments, again, our team monitors that on a regular basis. There's always limits to what you can do. When you move it from one corridor to another, you just end up causing a downstream issue. However, there are adjustments that we can make that are positive, and specifically in the Vaudin area. There's some advanced greens that we're going to be implementing in the coming week. So we continue to do that process.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Paleshi.
I recall what Councillor Power was referring to, and I don't know if it was necessarily a report that was coming back or if we actually provided direction at that time. And Peter, maybe if you can clarify. I had talked about construction on roads that were on like east-west corridors. Let's take Williams Parkway, for instance, and then ensuring that McLaughlin, another of the larger east-west, Beauvard, wouldn't be under construction at the same time, or Queen Street wouldn't be under construction at the same time. So we wouldn't want two of our major east-wests that are side by each under construction at the same time, or north and south, the same thing. I think that might have been direction, Peter, but can you clarify that?
Sure. Through the chair, it was direction given to staff, and when we did report back, We did make mention of the efforts we're going to make from a coordination perspective, and that's certainly a specific thing that we're doing. Any major corridors in any direction, but certainly through the east-west, in the east-west direction, we'll time the construction so that they're staggered and they're not happening at the exact same time, and that there's, appropriate detour routes as well.
And then, Peter, if you can, or if Shane needs to come down, talk about signalization. Signalization in its entirety, we're looking at it right across the city, trying to bring in AI, trying to make it easier. And I know that's ongoing work that staff have been doing. Great job. In terms of the construction season, in Brampton, we have two seasons. We have snowplow season and construction season. But in terms of the construction season, are we able to say, let's say Williams Parkway is under construction, so then Beauvert and Queen become, a little bit more congested. Are we able to say or implement on those streets a greater level of movement east and west through the changes of signalization because of that one particular road being under construction? Are we able to do that today, and do we?
Through the chair to Councillor Paleshi, we can. I will also point out that our advanced traffic management system is going to be fully implemented by the end of next month. So what that system does, it gives us remote access so we can remotely change signal timing in real time, which is a real benefit. I'll also point out that we're embarking on the AI POC pilot project, and that's going to look at actual hardware. So we're going to have the opportunity through that POC to leverage technology that's going to have sensors and is going to be able to use artificial intelligence to make real-time adjustments. So we're really excited about that. So there's a lot coming forward with respect to leveraging artificial intelligence, but certainly in terms of the abilities we have today through our advanced traffic management system to make signal timing changes remotely, we have that ability. And certainly when we have a corridor like Williams Parkway, under construction, obviously the other routes are going to get, more of that traffic. But having said that, once the construction is completed along that corridor, we're going to basically do another timing study and make sure that it's going to be operating optimally.
So thanks, Peter. And I'm super excited about this. I think this is a game changer in trying to move cars east, west, north, south. And ultimately then the down effect is getting people off of those cut-through streets where we're having so many complaints, where we're now having to put these, speed bumps in and whatnot. I've seen the workers going to like the signals in some of the major cross sections, and I think that that's what they're doing. They're putting something in place, some hardware for our software. So I'm going to use that as a segue into kind of my next, where staff are doing an outstanding job in working with the contractors to make sure that they're doing everything that they should be doing the way the policy is put in place with us at the city. But there's a trust factor. And sometimes, and what I notice is they, at the last minute, close off a section or something that wasn't ever allowed to be closed off, but they, whoever the super on the site decides, let's close this off for maybe safety, for maybe, easier access to something, which is fantastic, but the impact. And that's stuff that, we don't know about. It just impacts those people mainly on their commutes. And nothing ever comes of it unless you get a call from one of us saying, this isn't right. This is what they're doing. And it's not only us, it's the province too, because the province controls the bridges. And on Sandalwood, they completely shut down the off-ramp. Peter, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, and that was just an absolute gong show of what they did. And they weren't supposed to do it, but they did it anyways. And that impact can't be, on the residents. We certainly need, like Councillor Tour was saying, that communication to residents so people know that these things are happening. But it also happened on Williams Parkway where they were shut off one of the southbound lanes where they didn't have to do that. In the traffic in the morning was absolutely a disaster. So I fully support in the work, the ongoing work that Public Works is doing. My hat goes off to you, and, you know, the chair and vice chair, I think, are doing a fantastic job as well, just keeping us, you know, in the loop of things that they're also hearing. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents in, and I appreciate it, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pelletier. Councillor Santos.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. And so this is part of why I kind of want a report back. And if there is no report back, I'd like a briefing note. I just want everything summarized on what it is that we are doing right now to deal with construction season as well as the event season that's coming up proactively. I want to take a look at when we're closing stuff off even more in downtown Brampton, how that traffic flow is going to be impacted. And on top of that, looking at what a traffic ambassador might be able to do on some of those pressure points in the city. It's just a report back for a summary so that when residents are asking me and frustrated, I had some people texting me right now saying, yeah, it takes me half an hour, and they live at Mississauga Road and Williams Parkway, or Mississauga Road and Queet, takes them half an hour to get to work, and they work in Brampton. And so, and they're asking, what are you doing? What are we doing? And I appreciate the incredible work on the AI traffic lights, signal traffic lights using technology in the future. But the challenge is right now when people are stuck on Williams Parkway. I will say that Williams Parkway and Main Street is very problematic right now because you can't turn left onto Main Street going westbound onto from Williams Parkway. And so ideally, if we could, I would like a report back just to summarize what we're doing now and what we're doing in the future.
Through the chair, Councillor Santos, we're happy to provide whatever council wishes. Also happy to set up a meeting with you to discuss these concerns through a meeting and provide you with the information that that you're interested in. So happy to do it like that as well.
Mayor Brown.
Thank you, Councillor Vicente. I would welcome a memo or report back, and I guess the perspective I would take is, I always say there's no monopoly on a good idea if Toronto is utilizing traffic ambassadors, because the traffic there is chaos and mind-boggling. I think everyone dreads driving into Toronto because the traffic is so bad. I would wonder what techniques they're utilizing. It's worth looking at, given the fact it's much, much worse in Toronto these days. Doesn't need to be a new position. It could be someone on your current staff who we designate on off hours as a traffic ambassador. So if a councillor has a call, they know who to call. If there's a major business that's having an issue because there's a major sporting event at the same time as a construction project, the local councillor could say, this is our contact on the weekend, this is our contact in the evening. Sometimes we've got construction and major events happening at the same time. I believe usually this is planned for, but sometimes, you know, there's changes or adjustments, or there's a giant event that was larger than anticipated. And so I see we have on the agenda today some road closures for Garbus. That would be an example of sometimes these events can grow quite large and create traffic challenges. And so I think having that point of contact when there is traffic chaos would be helpful. Be interested in what it would look like. If it was someone on your current staff who could be designated with that responsibility, but I'm sure that's information and options you could put in the report back.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. I see no further speakers. I have a motion moved by Councillor Santos. All in favor, any opposed? One in opposition. The motion carries. Thank you. And with that, members, we now finish Public Works. Do we have any questions from members with regards to this section? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, do we have any questions from members of the public with regards to Public Works today?
Through you, Chair, I have no questions online.
Thank you. And do any members have questions with regards to our community services agenda? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, same question with regards to community services.
Through the chair, no questions online.
Thank you. And so now we move through legislative services sections. In item 10.2.1, a staff report regarding administrative penalty system progress updates was held by Councillor Tour. Councillor.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. Just had a question regarding this report. I'm just going to pull it up here. From staff, if I can just get clarification on just this part of the report under the screenings and hearings, that enhancements to the review process by adopting a written first model for screenings and prioritizing in-person hearings. Could you just explain that?
Sure. Through the chair, thank you for the question, Councillor Tour. So currently, screenings are the first stage appeal, hearings are the second stage of the appeal process for administrative penalties. Screenings are currently delivered through either written or in-person options, and hearings are performed as either written, virtual or in person. And so what we're proposing in this report is that for the screenings, they would go to a written format, primarily for submission, with exceptions, of course, where there's accommodation requirements, translation needs, those sorts of things, so that we have a more streamlined approach to the process for processing the screenings, and for the hearings to moving to an in-person as well, just to ensure that they're addressed more substantially in that format.
Why are we moving away from the virtual option for the hearings?
There's a number of challenges with the online system that we're trying to work through as well. We're finding that there's a fair number where people are just appealing, saying they didn't agree with the initial decision, and there's no substantive information being provided. So we're just trying to make sure that as we move forward with those, that there's substantive things being brought forward for those matters.
What's the fee change for a no-show for a hearing?
What is the change for the fee change for the no-show?
Like a non-appearance, yeah, for a hearing.
Yeah, it is currently, hold on, I think I have it.
$100?
I think I have it here, just bear with me for 1 second. I can probably get that information for you, I just don't seem to have it in front of me. Oh, sorry, it's currently $100, yeah.
Say that again?
$100 for the hearing, for non-appearance for hearing.
Is that changing?
We're not proposing a change to that.
Okay, so if there's $100 fee for a no-show, wouldn't it make it harder for people to appear in person versus if they had the option of just being virtual? Like, a hearing would happen during working hours?
I'm sorry.
A hearing typically would happen during working hours, I'm assuming.
Yes, that's correct.
Right? So wouldn't we encourage more people to show up for the hearing if there's a virtual option available for them, assuming they're also working? Versus if they have to take a day off work, lose the money there, come to the hearing in person to have to do it. So either they're losing money paying the fee for no appearance if they don't even show up online, or they're losing a day worth of wage. Wouldn't we, just asking, wouldn't that support people that are going through the hearing if they had the virtual option, more likely to show up?
To create more people, to encourage them to show up for the hearing, yes, yeah.
Right, so could we keep the virtual option then? Like that just, you're paying $100 for not showing up, right? And showing up in person, like this day and age, it's very hard for people to keep their jobs as it is.
Mm-hmm.
People are losing their jobs, it's a very tough market out there. Asking somebody to leave their work because they are appealing a ticket, which they have the right to, going through a screening or hearing, that would just make, and I'm assuming they would have to show up in person for screening as well. Or is that online? Is that just the written form?
The screening, currently it is in person, and we're recommending that we move to written submissions.
Yeah. So that helps, like having that as a written submission definitely helps, but then moving the hearing option from a virtual to an in-person only option, that doesn't help anybody. So I'd like to, if I can refer this back to staff to look at maintaining that we keep the virtual option, and if that is a cost difference or whatever, if that can come back to us at next week's council for a discussion, I'd be happy to see it then. But currently, I don't think we should, I don't think I'm comfortable supporting this, eliminating a virtual option for people that are at work. Assuming everyone is getting mandated back to work 5 days a week. Like, aren't they not getting mandated back to work 5 days a week? That's my inside thought. But if I can defer this to next week's council, or sorry, refer this back to staff for just an update regarding what I've just said, and come back to council so we can talk about it then.
So we have a motion of referral moved by Councillor Tour to ask staff to report back at council on how we can keep the virtual options. I have the city solicitor wishing to speak.
Yeah, thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. It's my understanding that it's not a complete prohibition of the virtual hearings. Still, there is accommodations in some cases. That is my understanding, but I just wanted to add that. I know that the direction's there, so.
And I appreciate you saying that as well. I understand with the accommodations, even, again, honestly, even with the written submissions, having the accommodation of translation services or accommodation for virtual services, as somebody that's, my community is always asking for accommodations, not comfortable asking accommodations. It should be a right for everybody. It should be the same standard for everybody. You shouldn't have to go to ask an accommodation for something that should just be fair. So if we can just fix the system to be fair, we wouldn't need accommodation. So if you can report back on that, I'd be happy to see that. And just talking on the same report as well, I'm not happy to see the fee increases, even though they seem nominal, going from $10 to $15. That's 50%. Some cases they're gone from $30 to $60, I believe. That's a 100% increase. That's a slow, like a creep of fees and these indirect taxes that our residents are going to keep facing. I know it generates more revenue for us. We'll get $1 million extra every year if the trend continues, and I know we're really struggling for money, but that small differences, the $10, $15, $100, it adds up over time. So that's just a general comment on that. Thank you.
Mayor Brown.
Yeah, I don't mind having a report back to say what the options are, but I think also mindful of the staff time they put into this, because I think there is, you know, I whenever councillors ask me to attend town halls, I do my best to attend. And I was just at a town hall in wards 2 and 6 this week. I think it was Monday night, was it? Very well attended, and we were getting, there was anger from residents that the fines weren't high enough. And they were saying that because they're not significant enough, people continue to abuse our bylaws and not respect them. And so we got an earful about this. It happened earlier this year when I was at a town hall in wards 3 and 4 with Councillor Keenan and Medeiros, where I got an earful about the fines not being significant enough. And so we have a problem where we have some bad actors that abuse the system, and then you've got legitimate needs, or there's a nurse visiting a home where there's going to be a legitimate accommodation that needs to happen, or someone's moving day. And so, you know, if there's a way to differentiate between the legitimate uses and those that abuse the system, I know you've put a lot of thought into this, but I would be apprehensive about and pausing any increase to fines, given the feedback I got was, I'd say, to be kind and diplomatic, vocal and angry about the lack of severity to the fines. I also want to have a better understanding, and if any report comes next week, about those that fight the parking tickets, those that use loopholes in the system to fight the system. Where does that leave us? What percentage of our parking tickets get paid? Those that fight them, what does it result in? Because I know with a lack of provincial resources at the court, that in past we've struggled with those that utilize the process. I'm not even sure if you can speak to that today, but you know, in terms of our bylaw enforcement, do we still struggle with that challenge of those that fight the tickets they receive?
We can certainly bring some of that information back as part of a report back on that. I know particularly on the provincial offenses side, there are a lot of challenges with respect to collections and making sure that those come in. I don't have the details in terms of the collections for the administrative penalty program in front of me, but we can definitely bring some of that information back as well. The one thing I would just note on the fines as well is the fines have not increased since the administrative penalty program had been implemented in 2014, and all of the rate increases that we are recommending are well within the norms of comparator municipalities.
And just to be clear, these tickets do go on the property taxes.
Wait. Say that again when you're right.
And just to be clear, these tickets, they do, if someone is convicted of a parking offense, it goes on the license plate or the property.
Depending on the offense, yes, it can go towards the license plate renewal process and then get collected through that avenue, or if it's a property-related offense, it can go on the tax.
Now that the province has waived the need to get stickers, how does that affect our ability to collect with license plates?
We still do collect. I don't have the numbers in terms of the impact of that, but there, anecdotally, there has been some impact.
And I sort of open up a whole different can of worms, but if there is that data available, I think we'd all like line of sight into it.
Councillor Pleshy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, and just speaking off of Mayor Brown, our town hall is overwhelming support, especially for the escalating fines. There were a few individuals that talked about, the first time occurrences or just having some friends over and having them to have to go out and move their car every 3 hours. And I don't know of anybody that's actually just, gone to pay a visit to somebody and they've never received a ticket before, and then all of a sudden they have a ticket. It's always been kind of at the discretion of the officers, and so I think lots of opportunity if somebody hasn't received tickets in the past and is just maybe, 10, 20 minutes over their allotted time. And I think that's certainly still supportive on our side of things. But as for any of the other fines and the discussions that we heard coming out of the town hall is a lot of support, especially for the escalating fines. I think this is a step in the right direction, but anything with, in terms of, a report coming back for us to be able to arm ourselves with the opportunity to provide information to the public, I think is certainly a benefit. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Santos.
Thank you, through Mr. Chair. And in fact, and so I know this is coming back to council, but also just a heads up in continuation to what Councillor Pleshy, Mayor Brown have been talking about escalated fines. We are going to be getting an update from staff. We had a legislative services briefing, and I requested that we get a report back from staff to update us on bylaw enforcement, RRL, all these different escalated fines that for Q1 update up to May, I believe it is. And so that update report is coming to council this month, I believe. Yes. Okay, I'm looking at Allison. Yes. And so, and I think what Mayor Brown was also alluding to is the worst of the worst offenders who, despite paying the fines, will continue paying the fines and will continue violating the bylaw. And so I think that is important for us to consider in a report back at the end of June of how we deal with the worst of the worst. What is our next step for us to consider? I've brought forward, for example, property standard issues for slum landlords who continue to pay escalated fines and then the next day continue to have overflowing garbage on their front lawn or mattresses and furniture on the boulevard for 2 weeks at a time, and they continue to pay the fine. So how do we deal with the worst of the worst offenders? I've suggested things like, okay, if you have a license as a landlord and you are considered a worst offender and you continue to pay your fines, guess what? When you renew your license, not only do you have to pay a fee to renew your license, but you're also going to have to pay a security deposit, like how you pay a security deposit at a hotel. They hold back money in order to proceed. So I'm done, but I'm just making a suggestion that we could, when the report comes back.
Point of order. Councillor Tour.
Thank discussion is now going out of what is in this report, this update. We're getting into a whole different discussion here, so thank you.
Councillor Santos.
Okay. So when the report comes back, this one's coming back, when would this report be coming back? This referral?
We'll look to get something either by this meeting or the following, depending on what we can do over the next week.
If I may, Councillor Santos, I believe the request from Councillor Tour was for council.
For council next week?
Yes.
Okay, and then in terms of just a point for clarification, because some of the stuff that was also discussed just now has to do with the other report that's coming back or coming to council soon. So to the commissioner, when will that report be coming?
Thank you, Councillor Santos, through you, Chair Vicente. So to address Councillor Tour's inquiries, we will be back next week. The bylaw update is scheduled for the next committee of council.
Oh, okay, so soon.
So
Perfect.
soon.
So we'll get an update on those escalating fines, et cetera, that folks have been talking about at this table. Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. And so we have a motion moved by Councillor Tour for a report back next week. All in favor? That carries. And so with that, we are now completed we have one more item. Item 10.3.1, a discussion by Councillor Keenan with regards to hours of operation for home businesses. Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to bring this, I know maybe to council's attention, because it was brought to mind, last week, myself and Councillor Medeiros, we had attended a resident visit in a neighborhood, but been having issues with a particular home business, with vehicles that would come into all hours of the night, into midnight. And I know it sounds a little bit like, what's the big issue here? And I just want to give some context behind this particular situation, which is quite alarming. So this neighborhood, be it a state neighborhood, had some break-and-enters, violent break-and-enters at gunpoint, with, full family in the house at night sleeping, and cars being taken away. No one was injured, but still a very traumatic situation for not just the homeowners, but the entire neighborhood. Since then, there's been countless break-ins in the same neighborhood, on the same street, given the opportunity. The neighborhood has gone to the extent of hiring private security within the neighborhood to sit on driveways to follow cars in and out. So vehicles coming into this particular neighborhood, sitting on the side of the road waiting for an appointment that they have at midnight, raises alarm bells in this community. Also to the point where they can't find the home they're looking for, so they're parking in other neighbors' driveways and looking through their windows. This is alarming in general, not just in the case of a traumatic incident that happened in this community. So when myself and Councillor Medeiros were looking at it, we said, what are the hours of operations for home businesses, to which we found out there are none. Home businesses are extremely important in our community, and they need to stay. It's not something that we're trying to change. But the hours of which they are allowed to operate, I think, is something that we really need to look at. If that's 10, 9, I don't know the answer, and I'm going to ask the staff report back on this, so council can make a decision as what's appropriate. I think what we need to understand is, with COVID, a lot of businesses moved into homes. Since that happened, I think we need to relook at some of the changes that need to be made around home businesses. And this being a major priority, I think, and something that we should look at right away, because it's something we can enforce. To go into that community, understanding what their problems are, and then having no tangible solution there that can be an enforcement tool, was quite alarming for myself and Councillor Medeiros, and why we felt the need to bring it forward here today. So I will ask for a report back on this. Home businesses, again, are important. COVID has increased that for us, but I don't think there's a need for, and I'll be honest, I stayed at the residents' visit until well after 11 p.m., and I seen 2 or 3 vehicles showing up at that time. Not appropriate. We need to keep our communities and our homes and our streets for that. We need to keep them safe, enjoyable, and I'm not saying these are bad people that are showing up, but residents are now taking it into their hand to go knock on their windows to say, why are you here? Why are you in our community? That in itself is unsafe. That shouldn't be the responsibility of them. I would recommend against it. But we need to make sure we're doing what we can. And with vehicles coming in there, sitting and parking on the street that aren't supposed to be there, they're waiting to get an appointment to get, I don't know what it is, nails, hair. I'm not sure 100%. In this case, that's what it was. I don't think that's appropriate at midnight. So I would like to move that staff report back on the hours of operation for home businesses and give recommendations to council. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. So we have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan. All in favor? That carries. And with that, we now complete this legislative services section. Do any members have questions? Seeing none, do we have questions from members of the public, Madam Clerk?
Through your chair, there are no questions.
Thank you. And with the economic development section, corporate services section, all in consent, I would ask if any members have questions. And seeing none, Madam Clerk, do we have questions for the remaining two sections in the agenda? And finally, we move to public question period for the entirety of the agenda. Madam Clerk, any further questions from members of the public? Thank you. And so with that, both items from closed session were in consent, but we have a motion that arises that needs to be handled here today. Madam Clerk, please assist us with that item.
Through your chair, the item 15.1 was approved on consent, and directions within are deemed given, including that the following motion be considered in open session. That the report prepared by Steve Ganesh be received, and that a budget amendment be approved and a new capital project be established in the amount of $1,013,000 for development approval process technology to support the foundational implementation and modernization activities with funding to be transferred from Reserve Number 4 and fully offset through return of capital from various approved capital projects to original funding source, that subject to successful conclusion of negotiations, confirmation of a financially and operationally achievable implementation approach, and within the funding identified in recommendation number 2, the Chief Administrative Officer, Commissioner of Corporate Support Services, Commissioner of Planning, Building and Growth Management, and Director of Purchasing, Treasurer, and City Solicitor be authorized to execute all agreements and associated documentation required to implement the replacement solution in a form satisfactory to the City Solicitor.
Thank you very much, and very transparently read. Do I have a mover for the motion? Councillor Pleshy? Councillor Pleshy will move the motion. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? And that carries. And so with that, we are completed our closed session business. Does the clerk need to report out on additional items?
Through you, Chair, just that item 15.2 had been withdrawn. There was no consideration.
Thank you very much. And so that brings us to adjournment. Committee is next scheduled to meet on Wednesday, June 17, 2026 at 9:30 a.m. I have a motion moved by Councillor